Yes, sir. Welcome to the mission. I'm your show host, Brian Butler, and we are honored to have with us on this podcast for the new year, kicking it off, my man, DJMikeMajor.
Yes,
Mike,
sir.
how are you, sir? Welcome to the mission, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Just enjoying it, man. Happy New Year to you and the family. It's a blessing, man. Appreciate
yes, sir.
Time,
likewise.
Man.
Hey, for people that don't know, and it's probably not too many people that don't know, but people, we're looking at right now a national and international DJ who has rock radio stations all across the East Coast. I think he'd have been to Texas. I know he's been to Aruba, Bahamas. He's all over the place, spinning, doing his thing, and keeping the crowd entertained. You know, the thing that I find most inspiring about you, my brother, is that, you know, you started in one place, you decided to pivot, and now you're a renowned DJ, you know what I mean? Making people happy with your music. I love it. You know, this show, Obsessed with the Mission, Welcome to the Mission. It's about people who decided or made a choice to be better, to get up every single day and grind and just want to do better. And you are a fine example of that, my brother. That's why I'm glad to have you on.
Man, I appreciate that, brother. It's not, it hasn't always been easy. It's been a grind like everything else, man. But you know, I'm happy to still be doing what I'm doing. Been a couple of times where, you know, sometimes life takes you in different places. Your confidence or lack thereof can take you in different places and makes you want to, you know, stop. But I've been blessed and to keep going. I got a wonderful family that allows me to keep going. You know, my wife wouldn't let me stop. She pushed me, kept me going. So life is great, man. I'm good.
Yes, sir. And that's key right there. Behind or next to every strong man is probably a strong spouse, a strong woman that is there for us when we fall and helps to pick us back up. I know my wife has done the same many times. And you're also a father, man. You got a beautiful daughter.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, 8 years old. She's a piece of work. She's daddy's little baby in more ways than one. You know, she has a lot of my mannerisms, a lot of my energy and you know, stuff like that. So, you know, I said she's a blessing in herself, man. I'm lucky to have her. You know, I tell her all the time that I'm so proud to just be her daddy, you know. So, you know, it's an awesome thing, man.
Yes, sir. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Hey, so you grew up in New York City. Let's take it back. Tell me about how it was growing up in the city, how that shaped and molded you to be who you are and to pursue that music industry.
Yeah, well, it's funny, man. You know, the city, I've always been influenced by music, you know, obviously for people who don't know, like you said, I come from New York City, but you know, I've been in the Bronx my entire life. Most people know that to be the home of hip hop, you know, 1520 Sedgwick Ave, which ironically, I was living down the block, or up the block, should I say, from they call it now Hip Hop Boulevard. And I was living there before we moved, you know, to where we are now. So for me, it was kind of like so surreal to kind of, you know, be a DJ and to kind of live on the block where like hip hop was founded, you know. So that, yeah, the DJ was dope. And I've always been influenced just around the music. I grew up with Swiss Beats. So Swiss Beats, his mom used to babysit me. So I was always in and around. Yeah, crazy, right?
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. So Swiss Beats lived on the block right next to mine. So I was living on Boston Road, and he lived on the block in that area. And there were times that his mom would babysit me. So so Swiss Beats, you know, my mom still calls him Kasim, which is his real name. So he was like every now and then, like, hey, do you speak to Kasim? So I've always been just influenced by the music. My dad, if you know, he still plays the air guitar when he hears certain songs come on. You know, I was one of those guys that, you know, we were cleaning and doing chores on Saturday mornings, the music.
Yeah.
So I've always been influenced by the music. And so, you know, which is something that took me a little bit longer in life than most DJs, but it's just something I ended up doing and I love it.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned that it took you a little bit longer in life than most DJs. So you started DJing around 32 years of age. Is that right?
Yeah, 32. Yep.
Okay. Now, two-part question here. So what were you doing before you became a DJ? And the second part of that is going to be what gave you the the spirit and the belief that you could get into DJing later in life and be successful?
Yeah, well, it was something, again, I always wanted to do it, from the time I was a teenager. It's like, influenced by so many different, DJs and artists. And, it's funny now, I get a chance to spend with people who I grew up buying their mixtapes, which is
Wow.
crazy for me. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's so surreal. We've got legendary DJs up here. I could specifically name DJ Ekim, DJ LA Love. I remember having their mixtapes, buying their mixtapes in the city, and now these are people I can call my friends, my brothers. Like LA Love, I'm part of his same team, Fourth Quarter Boys, and I've been in this house. He's met my family and everything else. We've been at each other, been there for each other, and that's one of my big brothers right there. So
Yeah.
he's always been there. But it was one of those things that, I was fortunate just to meet a couple of the right people, and one thing kind of led to another. And my boy was like, "Yo, if you want to DJ, come out, meet my boy, et cetera, et cetera." And the next thing you know, they were at my house teaching me how to DJ. And before you know it, it was like, all right, game on. So September 18th, man, 2012, man, that was my first time doing the party. And we've been just rocking since then.
December 18th, 2012, huh?
September 18th.
September 18th. Yeah, September 18th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, but before that happened, were you playing around with the ones and twos? Did you have turntables or?
No, not really. It was something. I bought the equipment, and that was 2010, by the way. I'm 12 years in. I'll be 13 years. I just wanted to just correct that real quick. But yeah, it was one of those things where I honestly took my income tax money. Real talk, man. I got income tax money, and it was like $5,500. And my boy, who was going to teach me how to DJ, he says, "Yo, if you got the chance, you got the funds to do it, let's get you the right equipment one time, and let's get you right." And I took pretty much the entire $5,500 and bought. This is before they started transitioning to the CDJs and now the controllers. I came on the very back end of them still having the Technics 1200s. Classic old school joints. So he took me to buy two of those, super heavy. It was like $1,000 a piece. So I ended up doing that and getting speakers and getting a whole bunch of stuff. And before you know it, they would just come into my house just teaching me how to DJ. And I remember him giving me this call like maybe the end of August, first week of September.
Yeah.
And I was going around the club, just hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You ready?" And I'm thinking that I've missed, like, I thought we were supposed to be going somewhere. And he was like, "No, I want to put you on the party. Like, I think you're ready. I want to put you on the party." So yeah, it was crazy, man.
Well, that's crazy. It's crazy because number one, we know life is about opportunities and being prepared. And the fact is, you were ready. You know what I mean? You might not have known it, but he knew it. Your homeboy, he seen it in you. He's like, "You ready? Because I think you're ready," and pushed you to do it. But it's also impressive how you invested in yourself. You took $5,500, which is not a little bit of money,
right?
And you took that and invested in yourself, which
absolutely
a lot of people are not going to do that. They're not going to have the courage to be able to do that. I mean,
right.
You just felt the confidence and was like, "Man, this is what I'm doing. I'm going."
Yeah, I just went with it, man. And like I said, it turned out to be, a great thing. I've got a chance to see a lot of things, see a lot of cities, see a couple of countries on, in the Caribbean and stuff like that. So it's great, man. I tell my wife all the time, I've gotten so much more out of this DJ game than I could have ever thought. If you would have told me September 18th, 2010, that this is what would have ended up happening, I would have put some money in your hand and been like, "Nah, that's not gonna happen."
You lying.
But, like I said, I've been blessed, man. I'm truly thankful for it.
Yeah. No, man, that's beautiful. I'm sure, when we decide to make change in life, people kind of look at us sideways, because change is when we decide to make change, not when things happen to us and we're forced to make change, but when we just out the blue say, "Hey, man, everybody going left, I'm gonna go right. This is what I think I want to do." I'm sure a lot of people were looking at you, like, "Hey, man, what you doing, man? You already over here. Why are you changing?"
Well, what's weird is that, when you come into the DJ game, especially when you're in New York, and, there are great DJs all over the country, all over the world. But, again, people know that if you can make it in New York musically, you can make it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
And the hardest part for me was coming in on the back of all of these legends. And I know I tell people this all the time. I think the most humbling part for me is that we've got DJs that everyone knows, the Funk Flexes, the DJ Envies, the DJ Selves, but there's a lot of well-known DJs who you may not see on the scene like that. The LA Loves, the E Kims that I mentioned earlier, the Mel Stars. These are the people who control and dominate the party scene. So when you come on at 32, and I think I posted this a couple of days ago on my Facebook, most people started their DJ career at 15, 17, 20 years old.
Right.
So I came in already having a disadvantage starting at 32, but
Yeah.
now you're trying to crack the code and you're trying to get into parties that these people pretty much have a stronghold on. So
Right.
I always felt like I had to work that much harder to do that because I'm already had age against me.
Yeah.
And then you're coming into New York City where it's like, this is what we do.
Right.
Music
Right.
and
Right.
sports, this is what
Birthplace.
we do. So, I've always had to try to put in that work and just try to create opportunities. I've been blessed to, to pair up with a lot of great DJs. When LA Love welcomed me into Fourth Quarter Boys, it was awesome, just to be a part of that because there's so many great DJs on that team. And,
Right.
and then just get out there and network. And like I said, to be honest, it's a humbling thing at the end of the day when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you found that you're able to kind of crack the code and it was a grind, but you stuck to it. And now it's probably younger DJs trying to crack the code and trying to probably work through you and help and probably seek your wisdom now.
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
turn.
I wouldn't say so much of that. I don't get as much of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I always wanted to make sure that if I'm in a position to give back, I do give back because I will tell you that as great as it is in terms of having those DJs who help you, you do also have the other side where people are like, just because you got a laptop, you're not a DJ. Just because you never carry crates, you're not a DJ. So you have those two who don't embrace the new era of DJs, the new technology, and they'll kind of hate on and frown on that. And the one thing I've always, technology evolves. Your passion should not be dictated. Your realism, so to speak, as a DJ should not be predicated on what kind of current equipment is available to you. You know what I'm saying? The internet ever wasn't available back then either, but you still use Facebook to promote your parties, right?
Right.
So, there's always two different ways to look at it.
So you got the good side and the bad side. People helping to promote, and then people, kind of hating on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
but
life.
It right. That's that. Like you said, in the microcosm, that's life. No matter what you do.
Yeah.
We grew up playing basketball. You got people say the same thing. When it comes to basketball. So it is what it is, man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So, but actionable items and actionable steps that you took along the way to make that change from where you were to where you are. I mean, what we know you took the 5,500, you spent it, you bought your equipment, you got going. What other items did you have to do in order to get to where you are? Booking sites, booking shows, booking clubs. Was it just your homies that helped you to do that or what?
I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say, one, I have a great partner. And I'm not saying that just because she's here. I tell her this all the time. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
Because not only has she helped fund a lot of equipment that I use, she's my support when I'm flying around the country. Like I got a daughter, I'm still responsible to. So when I'm doing all of these different things, that opportunity can't be afforded to me unless she's available and willing to be there and step up and do everything when I can't take that pressure off of her. So that's the first part. The second part is really just trying to stay relevant, being outside, being in the streets, keeping updated with the equipment again as technology evolves. Keeping up. Listen, I'm talking about the laptop that I'm using right now was something that she just got for me last week.
Very nice.
So keeping up with new equipment, new laptops, business cards, just being in the streets and networking with different promoters so that you have an opportunity to be booked in different places. And honestly, a lot of it is word of mouth, man. Is you know, you get out there and you put your best foot forward and you do a party and you do a show and hopefully you rock the place, and next thing you know, you have friends and family members that are referring you. So that's, you know, I really would love to tell people there's some tricks and other ways around it. It really is a grind. It's a grind, man. And it just, you got to stay consistent. You got to stay consistent, man, because just like I'm trying to crack the code, there's somebody who's 15, 17, 20 who's trying to come in right now, and they're going to look to crack the code.
Right.
The same thing. So it's really just staying consistent, keeping your name and keeping your relationships. This is the whole business is relationships.
Relationships.
So, yeah, absolutely, man.
Which is similar to life. You know, I've learned that along the way, just like we have a relationship, right? Started years ago, you know what I mean? In college, you know what I mean? We started years ago, but we still have that relationship.
Absolutely.
And I'm blessed that you're willing to even come on and sit down with your brother and speak to me.
Man, you
relationships.
You know what's funny? I sat there today and I was thinking about the show today.
Yeah.
And I remember you, and I remember, you know, my man DT, Dennis Turner, shout out to my guy. And I always remember you guys being the OG sisters. And I remember guys like myself and Mariana coming in.
Yeah. Old Crime Dog.
My man Crime Dog.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
And I remember us, you know, we coming in and you guys, you know, when we talk about DJing and how people trying to crack the code, the one thing I can say is that you guys kind of always took us under your wing and tried to make sure you never stopped us from growing and trying to get better, man. I always remember, I was like, this guy. I always wondered, like, man, what made him come all the way from Texas to Plattsburgh? I'm like, that jumper is soaky. I know he could have played in Texas or somewhere, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, you know, you and I were both blessed to have a quality man, Coach Cowan, who was in our lives. And Larry Cowan, instrumental to me. He reached out to me at a time where I was down and out and said, "Say, man, I think you can still play. You know, come up here and let's see what you can do." And that really changed my life. So, and I met great people like yourself, Dennis Turner, like you mentioned. I mean, all the guys, and I'm honored and blessed to still have relationships with y'all dudes, man.
The one thing I always say about fellas is we can not speak and we can lose connection and do all of that stuff, and then we can get on the call like this, and it look like we saw each other yesterday.
Like it's nothing. like we was kicking it yesterday.
Absolutely, man. That's when the love is real, though.
Yes, sir. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Hey, you know, so I mentioned in the intro, you're national, you're international. Name some of the places that you've been able to see and go to and DJ. Even cities, country, wherever you've been, just name them.
You just gonna act up right now with this.
Let the people know.
So we did Los Angeles, San Francisco, Atlanta twice. Of course, being on this side, I've done Connecticut, Jersey. What did we do? We did Orlando. Did Orlando a little while ago. And then on the international side, I mean, like I said, I won't, you know, the local stuff, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, you know, that's pretty
big.
much
That's big stuff right there.
But we did Aruba, we did St. Martin.
Wow, nice.
We did Cabo, and then this year we're doing Grenada.
Okay.
And I did Cancun. I did my boy's wedding last year in Cancun. So
nice.
This is, like I said, I've been blessed to do all this. This is something that, you know, I always knew if I put my best foot forward, I can get the most out of this. But if you tell me the traveling part of it, I don't know if I ever thought the traveling part would be, you know, I felt like I can do some parties here in the city, but I never thought I would be traveling the way I've been traveling the last 2 or 3 years.
Man, that's awesome. And the thing is, a lot of times, like for us, we come from the city, come from the inner city, and a lot of people, even in our circle, they never really been anywhere. They never really seen anything besides, you know, the block, you know what I mean?
Right.
And for you to even have them stories to share and for you to get those experiences, those are life-changing experiences, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's been great. You know, I think the other part of it that's great is that, you know, I get to share these experiences with my wife. My wife goes more so like domestic. She don't care about seeing things state to state.
Yeah.
If I get a chance to go internationally, she travels with me. You know, when I did the trip down in Florida, I was able to bring my daughter out there. My brother lives out there, so she got a chance to go out there and connect with her uncle. And I got a chance to give her another traveling experience. So, you know, my wife and I are just big on that traveling and giving our daughter some of those experiences early. You
Yeah.
know, so she's
Yeah.
8 years old. She can say she's been on a cruise. She's been, you know, she's been on land in Mexico, and she's done some things that, you know, at 8 I never got a chance to do. But that's what parenthood is all about, is giving your
Right.
kids those opportunities that maybe you weren't afforded for one reason or another. And my wife and I, we really just we're big on that.
Yeah. That's a fact. And you know, it's about exposure.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So, you know, you're able to combine multiple loves, the love for
Oh yeah.
music, love for DJing, love for your wife, love for your family, your daughter, and then put it all together. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that.
Not at all, brother. Not at all, man. As I said, to be able to travel with them and have them see what I do and give them those experiences, man. Like I said, you really can't ask for anything else.
Man, that's beautiful, brother. So the thing is, yes, you are a DJ. Yes, you are a really good DJ, but you're an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, you got your whole other lane that you got going. I've been to the website. I see you got. Talk to me about Major Angels. What's that about?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Major Angels is something I probably have to work a little bit harder on, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably do that this year. So Major Angels is just something that I just kind of stemmed off the Mike Major name, and I had to be really careful with that because there's actually a line that's called Major Angels, so we had to throw the team in front of it just to make sure it's
Okay.
differentiated it a little bit. But yeah, it's just really it's a line that I started, you know, and I've always kind of catered to plus size women. My wife is a plus size woman, and so I started initially to give plus size women just something else trendy, but something else that I can stem off the name. You know, people can rock with and say, yo, you know, people like to have things from their favorite DJ, favorite celebrity, favorite this, that, and the other. So it was just something we started there. And then we just had a couple ladies who, you know, nothing crazy, you know, put the clothes on, take a couple of pictures, what have you. So it's just an extension of just really just the DJ stuff, so to speak. Nothing crazy, bro. You trying to make it sound crazy.
No, hey, you know what? Here's the thing though. We tend to downplay what we're doing, right? But the fact remains is that even if it was the smallest thing, it's something, and it's something that you're doing where other people they're not even willing to try. So when we say, hey, it's nothing major, it's nothing, not to play off the name, but you know what I mean? Like, nah, that's big because you're thinking outside the box, you're putting things together. And I'm a firm believer in you know, forward movement and energy creates more movement, creates more energy. So by the fact that you're just doing that, it's gonna stack up.
Well, that was the whole point. You know, it's nice to be able to have some of those items. You know, we went to Cabo last year. I was able to give, you know, my boy was giving out grab bags and stuff. Shout out to my guy Corey. So he's the one that puts together some of these international trips. The whole Live Escape, Dub, you know, the whole crew. And so we was able to put some shirts in bags and give them out. You know, actually, the radio station that I was DJing on, his son was wearing the shirt the other day. He sent it, tagged it to me on Facebook. So this is where it works, you know. That's like free promo. So you know, again, it's just something I wanted to do, just to have. I think to kind of round out, you know, have a website where people can find your music, find out, you know, what you're doing. Also have a place where, again, if somebody saw you at a party and wanted to go grab a T-shirt and didn't want to bother you because they saw you in the mix, they can go to the site and Google your name, whatever it is, and there's just something there. So
yeah. Well, this is how crazy it is because viewers, my man has his own clothing, right? He's got his own, he's marketing himself, he's got his own clothing. But on this interview tonight, this man decides to wear an obsessed with this is the type of gentleman we're talking about. Look at this guy. He doesn't take the time to promote his own. He's like, yo, he's wearing an obsessed with the mission shirt. This gentleman is.
This is all about you, brother. Like I said, this is the love I have for you. This is the appreciation that I have for you for giving me this platform and the opportunity to kind of, you know, be on your show and, you know, and talk to some of your fan base and your network, and, you know, so I just wanted to reciprocate the love, brother. That's all.
Always. And I certainly appreciate that, man. Hey, so if you got a young kid looking at you, or even if you got a 30-year-old looking at you and saying, "Hey, man, DJing sounds great. I've got a love for music as well. I think I'm gonna try this." What if you're giving step by step? You don't even have to say step by step. If you giving advice, what advice do you give to them to get started?
I would say first, if you're going to do it, I mean, of course, you know, you want to make sure you just have, you know, a proper, you know, laptop that's going to hold a lot of memory. That was one of the reasons why my wife upgraded my laptop, is just to give it a little bit more memory. But I would say most importantly is just do your homework, be a student of the game. And I think that applies to just many things, crafts. Like I said, we come from that basketball era, you know, so you got to do your homework. I always say, don't be the guy. If somebody told you was ball play, but you didn't have any basketball shorts or basketball to go practice, we would look at you and say that you're crazy. So
Right.
I would say the same thing as a DJ. And like you said from the beginning, invest in yourself, get some good equipment. But most importantly, like I said, when I say do your homework, it's not just more so on the equipment side, it's on the music side. And the one thing that you'll realize, especially as you start to get more gigs and more parties and things of that nature, is that every party and every crowd is a different crowd. I've done parties for young kids where they want to hear trap music and drill music all the time. I've done parties for older people where it's Frankie Beverly and Maze and we're two-stepping the whole party. And then I've done other parties where they're like, can you throw some bachata and merengue in there? And so you've got to try to be well-versed in so many different genres of music that in order to do that and perform, you're going to have to do your homework and organize your music so that when it's game on, you can have your music and organize say. So before you do anything, I tell people, don't worry about trying to get on and be the best host or be the scratching and do all this extra stuff. That stuff will come, but you got to do your homework first.
Yeah, man, that's real sound advice, you know, and I'm sure some people are going to get something out of that advice, brother. So I certainly appreciate you. Top 3 DJs that inspired you.
Top 3 DJs that inspired me.
Yeah.
Oh, top 3 DJs.
Growing up in the city.
Oh, I have to say Flex.
Okay.
Just because of his radio presence. He's the one I heard the most.
Yep.
So I would say Flex. DJ Self, who I probably get compared to the most. And DJ Self. And then I would probably say influential. That's a tough one, man. I don't know if anybody's ever really even asked me that. Those two, and then yeah, man, it's tough. The third one is tough because there was so many great DJs I heard. You know what? I'm disrespectful because Self is who I get compared to on the mic, but my style is probably more like Red Alerts. So shout to Red Alert.
DJ Red Alert.
Because he loves the old school and the R&B and the whole thing. So big shout to Red Alert. When Red Alert's in the car and my wife is driving, I'm telling you, I'm like, oh no, I gotta hear Red Alert play.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's a quality list right there. So I know the people, they've been hearing it, they've been hearing us talk about it. If they want to hear some music, what's the social media handles? Where can they go to get the clothes? Where can they go to hear music? Where can they go to get the DJ Mike Major experience?
All right, cool. So man, if you're doing Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's just at DJ Mike Major on the handle. If you're looking for the clothes, it's www.IamMikeMajor.com. So you can go ahead and check that out. Some of the mixes are on there. The clothing is on there. So you'll see some of that as well. And then if you want to go check out some of the music, again, whatever may not be available on the website, I also have a Mixcloud. So it's mixcloud.com/DJ Mike Major. You can find some of the mixes there. From some of the stuff I've done on the radio to just some personal mixes I did, in the crib, in the studio. So it's pretty much where you can find the information, bro.
Yeah, man. I love it. Your inspiration, my brother. Thank you for the time.
Nah,
hey,
thank you, bro.
Welcome to the mission.
I appreciate you, man. So hopefully you and the missus and the whole family have a great, 2023, brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's going to be great because we say it's going to be great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Words
Speaking
have
to
power.
existence, my brother. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.